Technological Ashes, Chapter 11, Mission Specs. Andy was at the controls, Gordon was petting Sparky on the couch, and I was there wondering if we had a snowflake's chance in hell of surviving this. "Gordon, you mind taking over the controls for a bit?" Gordon nodded and limped over to controls. Andy then came to me and offered me a joint, which I gladly accepted. "Seb, you need to know how to fight. No offense, you've been doing great, but I count that as luck more than anything else. Also, I'm going to show you the EMP bomb I've been working on for years." I tilted my head. "How do you know how to make that?" "Wait, never mind your accident, as well as your genius. So, how do I fight? I also think I should know technology, as well as you, and to drive the train." Andy smiled. This time I wasn't creeped out, thankfully. "Yes, you should, and I also think you should teach me some medical skills and how to perform some first aid." I nodded, then Andy pulled a gun on me. I immediately froze. "That was the first test, Seb, and I hate to say it, but you failed. Also, sorry if you thought I was more insane than usual." I kept on puffing for my joint as my cortisol levels spiked. "So, what's the plan for me fighting, then?" He motioned for the joint, which I gave him. "You're not good up close." "Aha, that's it. You'll be what the military is called shadows. Fight where there is no light. You'll fight from the shadows." I nodded, understanding what he meant. Then he pulled out a throwing knife. "I want you to practice with this. Sometimes the stealthiest option is best. Hell, it usually is." Andy took a Sharpie and put a dot on the wooden wall of the train car. "Hit the dot and don't stop until you do. I'll be here to help, but only if absolutely necessary." I nodded and took my glasses off. My first throw was okay, but the knife bounced off the wall. Andy walked over and picked up the knife and threw it exactly into the dot. "Stand like this with one leg slightly beyond the other and hold the knife by the blade. That way it'll impact with the blade and not the handle. Try again." After another few times, I managed to insert the knife into the wall, but not the dot. "I'm getting better, but I just don't feel the need to be better, if that makes sense." Andy nodded and then walked over to Sparky and took out his gun. He pointed it at Sparky. "Put the blade into the dot or he dies. Only one chance." I looked into Andy's eyes and he had the flare of insanity in them. Fuck. He was serious. Then, with a fluid grace I didn't know I possessed, it was thrown directly into the dot. "How'd I do, you sick fuck?" He smiled and showed me the gun had no bullet in the chamber. "You did great for a dumb blonde." I smiled back and he hugged me. "Thank you, Andy. I mean it." I smiled and felt strange with his hug, almost as if it were what? Attraction? Nope. Couldn't be. After my last failed relationship, I swore off love, as it was hard to find. "Hey, Seb, you know we can let go, right?" I let go of him and blushed. Andy noticed and walked with me further away from Gordon. "You good, Seb?" I nodded a bit too enthusiastically. He looked at me and his eyes narrowed. "Don't lie. Please just don't. What's up?" I looked away and burst into silent tears. He pulled my face up and looked me dead in the eyes. "I'm sorry, Andy. It's not right, but I feel a sort of attraction to you, but you wouldn't or couldn't feel the same about a trans man like me." The words escaped my lips before I realized what I'd said. He looked at me and smiled sadly. "You're trans? Why the fuck does it matter? Also, I'm flattered." The tears eventually dried up and I looked at him in shock. "You don't care?" He simply shook his head. That only made the attraction worse. "Seb, I'm not a religious freak who hates trans or gay people. Live and let live is my motto. Also, did you take me as straight just because of my military service?" My mouth hung open and was slack-jawed. Wait, what?" He nodded. "Yeah, I had my first girlfriend at 12 and my first boyfriend at 18. Took me a while to figure it out, as well as not hate myself for it." I smiled as I understood the pain. "Believe me, I get it. It took me 22 years to figure out that I wasn't a woman, and then because I was in medical school, I had access to better healthcare, so I took the chance and got the surgery. And it didn't help that I was sexually abused by my father as a kid." Andy nodded but said nothing, allowing me to continue. "Yeah, I lost a lot of friends and family over it, and I always wondered if I made a mistake. Sometimes it feels like I did." Andy shook his head. You didn't make a mistake, Seb. You did what was needed for you to be truly you and happy. And I'm proud of you, even though I barely know you. Also, who am I to deny my own feelings, as the feeling is mutual, my friend? I laughed. Really? Wow, and no offense, but it probably wouldn't be the right idea to act on these feelings. Andy nodded and sighed. You're right, it wouldn't be. I'm nowhere stable enough, and I wouldn't want to hurt you. Lord knows I've already done enough of that. I stuck out my hand. Andy shook it and kissed the back of it, causing me to blush harder. Ugh, you're such a tease. He stuck out his tongue at me and winked. Yeah, I know. So anyway, let me show you the EMP bomb. He took out the massive chest and opened it to show me a simple grenade with a screen on the side of it. This is the EMP bomb, or rather, the grenade. It's difficult to explain, but it works by creating a pulse of pure concentrated energy that'll cripple Atmos, at least this location. Then he slowly closed the chest and took out, as I took out, a backpack of medical supplies. And after a few hours, I had taught Andy first aid and a few other things. Andy, in turn, had shown me how to start and stop the train, as well as a few other things. The night came up suddenly, and Gordon parked the train in the tunnel. You guys been busy all day long. Do anything fun? Andy nodded, and I demonstrated my knife skills. Gordon was visibly impressed. He even clapped. Very nice, Seb. Andy is a great teacher. I nodded, and Andy bowed theatrically, making us both laugh. Even Sparky was smiling. I'm proud of both you guys for seeing each other and not just the other's pain. Kudos to both of you, really. I mean it. Gordon pulled Andy in for a hug. Andy was surprised, but accepted the hug anyway. Could this day get any better?